What's going on, guys? Welcome to my new podcast series, Weekend Wrap Up, where I just talk about the biggest things that happened in sports over the course of the past weekend. And in this case, this weekend, we have Stephen Curry dropping 57 points. Then Derrick Rose going back to the Knicks. We'll talk about that later. And obviously, the Super Bowl that went down yesterday. Sunday, February 7th, and it was very unexpected. So, without further ado, we are going to dive into that. And just to clarify, Friday episodes will still be there every Friday. Don't worry about that. I just added Monday because I thought it would be more interesting for you guys because usually big things happen like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and then I'd have to talk about it on my next episode, and it might not be as talked about anymore. So, without further ado, let's talk about the Super Bowl between the Chiefs Buccaneers. It certainly wasn't a Super Bowl we all expected, just because the first time I believe it was Week 12 in the NFL season, Tyreek Hill torched Carlton Davis. Like Tyreek Hill, I believe had 203 or something like that yards caught in the first quarter alone. He had 3 touchdowns for the game, I believe. I know fantasy owners were happy about that, but then 0 yards in the first quarter, and man, Holmes was doing all he could. I felt like at the end of the game, like I know he struggled a bit earlier, but the whole entire game it just didn't look good. Like the defense for the Chiefs couldn't stop Brady whatsoever. Like it was just the first drive for Brady, and then it was just touchdowns and then field goal. Um, that's why it was 31-9, and it reminded me of Super Bowl where the Rams played the Patriots, and the Rams were the best offense in the league at that time. And then the Super Bowl came, and it was only 12-3, and or 13-3. That was the lowest scoring Super Bowl in NFL history. Think about it. The best offense in the league only scored 3 points, and this was Super Bowl 53. And geez, like this reminded me of that because the Chiefs were the best offense in the league and scored 0 touchdowns, only 9 points, 6 more points in the Rams that year. But you got to give it to Brady, man. 7 rings and 10 Super Bowl appearances is honestly incredible. And I think he got Super Bowl MVP just because of what he transformed the Buccaneers into. But if I would have had to give it to someone on the defense, man, the defense just played lights out against Mahomes. And some crazy, 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 insanely crazy stat is all the pressures and dropbacks Mahomes got. Total, he ran the game. If it was just those, you're taking into account 497 yards, which is just insane for the amount of pressure he was getting. Like, I believe they sacked him twice or something. I could be wrong, but the offensive line couldn't save Mahomes. Like, he was parallel to the ground and throws an absolute dime, but Williams dropped it. It went off his helmet. It went off Hill's helmet. You score touchdowns at 14 points right there, 31-23. And then on the first drive, I believe, their first offensive drive, Kelsey drops it. Just balls just kept going off their helmet, and they just kept dropping footballs left and right, and it costed them at the end. And Mahomes threw picks, it tipped off their receivers, and the Buccaneers defense was there. But props to the defense, man. Like Todd Bowles, he got torched against the Chiefs offense and Eric Bieniemy in Week 12 earlier in the season, but now in the Super Bowl clearly answered the bell, and now they're Super Bowl champions. And now we go to Stephen Curry dropping 57 points in a loss. And Curry, there was a moment of silence there because I can't believe Curry is not even in the MVP conversation. He is at least top three right now. He has to be. Like his initial career high was 54 against the Knicks in 2013, and then he just got 62 around a month ago against the Portland Trailblazers. So, and then 57 against the Mavericks. So he's beaten his initial career high twice this season. He leads the league in total points scored, not points average, but total points scored. Leads the league in threes. Like, what more does Curry need to do to be considered for MVP? And I honestly think that Curry has a case now, like 57 points. Today, as I'm recording this, Warriors are going to play the Spurs. But, like, Curry definitely has to be top 3 for MVP at the pace he's going. Like, for me right now, it's either Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and then put Curry, but Curry has a case for being top 3. Like, Joel Embiid can be number 4, so I think it's like Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and then Nikola Jokic or something like that. But pick whoever you think is going to win the MVP, but Stephen Curry needs to be considered for that. And now we head on to Derrick Rose going to the Knicks, and the Knicks trading Dennis Smith Jr. and a second for Derrick Rose. And his Rose's 2020-21 season stats, he's averaging 14 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. But he's in Detroit is not really good at all. But Jeremy Grant's their best player by far. They beat the Lakers and then took him to double overtime, which honestly was impressive. Like, double overtime with LeBron and AD against Detroit when Rose and Blake Griffin weren't even playing. But Derrick Rose, second stint with the Knicks in 2016-2017, Derrick Rose averaged 18 points, 2.3 turnovers, 4.4 assists, and 3.8 rebounds. Let's call it 4 rebounds in 2016-2017 for the Knicks, and then had a stint with the Cavs and then Minnesota. But, I mean, Detroit, he had last year 18, 5, and 2.5 rebounds. Then Dennis Smith Jr., he was disgruntled with the Knicks, wanted to go down to the G League so he could get more playing time. He goes to Detroit, certainly uh worse team than the Knicks. Knicks clearly, or not clearly, might actually make it to the playoffs this year. You never know, but I mean, it's nothing like Derrick Rose is gonna help him become a champion or something like that. But definitely makes him a playoff contender. Currently, the New York Knicks are 8th, 11 and 14. They're a game in front of the 9th seed Toronto Raptors, who are 10 and 13. Cavaliers 10 and 14. I mean, and then the Detroit Pistons are 5 and 18, last in the East. They indeed are the worst team in the league right now, a game worse than the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Derrick Rose clearly happy to leave Detroit, I would imagine, to play in the playoffs again. And Rose was special to watch in the playoffs and the Bulls. If he can emulate that performance, then he could potentially become the Derrick Rose that we all thought we were getting when he was the youngest MVP ever. So with that, that ends weekend wrap up, and these are just going to be small 7 to 10 minute episodes. Not going to be the normal length of my other episodes because I'm just recapping what happened over the past weekend. With that, tune in next Monday for episode 2 of Weekend Wrap Up.